Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is Lollyman16 here again for another Dragon Ball Super review. This one is episode 67, and it is entitled Aratana Kibo Umene ni Saraba Trunks. Pretty much in the English, it is With New Hope, Farewell Trunks. Now, this episode is the final episode of this arc. It is 20 episodes long, and I got a lot to say about this episode. Before I want to begin here, first of all, I had to watch this episode a few times to really understand what was going on. So my apologies for not uploading yesterday like I usually do. But this episode, we start off with the destruction, or quote-unquote destruction, of Zamasu by the hands of Future Trunks. Interesting dialogue with Goku. He says that it actually was kind of like a Genki Dama, or a spirit bomb. And again, we have no really confirmation of how he did this. Trunks just says that, he kind of just took everyone's power and used it as his own, and therefore defeated Zamasu. So anyway, the whole thing ends with Zamasu disintegrating, or what seems to disintegrate, but like a few minutes afterwards, he reappears again. And interesting enough, the dialogue in at least the Crunchyroll subs say that the whole entity of Zamasu is trying to become the universe itself. He's literally trying to become justice. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel this. I really did think that Zamasu was actually finished with Trunks, but I guess he was not. Anyway, so he engulfs the entire planet and starts firing ki blasts everywhere, destroying the entire city. Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks power up once more, but Goku and Vegeta cannot power up to Super Saiyan Blue. Just because the Supreme Kai said that because they used the final Kamehameha as Vegito, it drained up all their energy, so they cannot transform. But they decide to go anyway into their base, just fighting in their base. They fire a triple attack, triple ki blast. Goku uses the Kamehameha. Future Trunks uses his Gallic Gun as I guess SS2, I'm not sure. And Vegeta just fires a final flash in base form, which we haven't actually seen before, so that's kind of interesting to see. But anyway, it has no effect against Zamasu. It was instantly knocked back. They get hit by a strong ki blast, and they are pretty much down. Mai starts shooting rapidly with a shotgun because obviously everyone is destroyed. I mean, this is really the kind of the saddening part of the episode. It seems that everyone is destroyed except for Goku and the gang, with Bulma and everyone. That means Yajirobe is dead. The two little children, Maru and Haki, I think, are both gone too. And all the civilians are also dead, which is a really tragic scene. Anyway, Mai fires her shotgun multiple times, but it's to no avail, guys. It has no effect. And this is actually the first villain ever in Dragon Ball that I can think of that the heroes actually lost. I mean, they could not defeat the enemy. Overall, it was kind of a win/not win, because Trunks technically defeated Zamasu, but he came back. So Goku reaches in for a senzu bean, but he does not find any senzu beans. Actually, he does find something else, and that is the Zen-O button. A lot of people predicted this. I predicted this. I actually thought in my predictions that Zen-O was going to fix the timeline. But no, Zen-O comes, he sees Goku, he's like, I don't know who you are, because obviously he is the future Zen-O-sama. So I guess the Omni King cannot live between all timelines. There is separate timelines for the Omni Kings anyway, which is going to lead into something later on in the episode. So moving on from this, Zen-O sees Goku, and he's basically saying like, who are you? And Goku says he's Goku, and he tells him about Zamasu and stuff, and Zen-O's like, oh, Zamasu, this guy is really annoying, it's terrible, I should just destroy the world. And so he actually does. He powers up, he raises his hands, ki energy starts forming from his hands and starts to wipe out the entire, space. Goku and the gang leave. Goku says, what are you doing, guys? Get in the time machine and go back to your original timelines. So they do this, and Zen-O pretty much wipes out the entire timeline. It's what it seems like, from Herms' subs, and of course, and from Crunchyroll too. By the way, big shout out to Herms. Again, Twitter.com/Herms98. Give him lots of support. He does all our translations before Crunchyroll ever does. Good man. Show him lots of support. Anyway, moving on. Zeno destroys the entire timeline, and after this they arrive back in the present, but Goku actually thinks of something. Because Omni King wanted a friend, Goku actually goes back with Trunks, fuses up the time machine, goes back into future Trunks' timeline, grabs the future Omni King, and brings him to the present Omni King's palace. The Omni Kings meet, and it's kind of strange that the Omni King is like, well, who is this guy? I mean, he is the same guy. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I guess it doesn't really bother me that much. Couple interesting reveals here. The Daishinkan, or the Grand Priest, is actually Whis' father. It's confirmed in this episode. You know, they have a little bit of dialogue here saying that the Daishinkan is actually kind of envious of Universe 7, and Whis says, you know, you should really come and visit sometime. And the Grand Priest says he will. Now, this automatically makes the Grand Priest the father of Vados too, because, you know, remember in the episode 28 of the Universe 6 arc, Vados is confirmed to be Whis' sister. So again, interesting stuff here. After the whole Zeno thing, future Trunks and Mai, they head back to the future, and this is interesting. There's some dialogue between Whis and Beerus. They're kind of talking about how Beerus created this whole mess in the first place when he destroyed the present Zamasu. It actually created the other timeline wherein Goku Black was not destroyed. So technically it's Beerus' fault. Another clip showing Gowasu in his I don't know, that dimension place where he keeps his time rings, and it's interesting to note he has 6 of them now. Again, I'll make some more speculations on that later, but I know it's really weird he has 6 of them now. But anyway, he puts the time ring back, and all is peaceful now, except for the fact that Future Trunks' timeline is destroyed, which I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the review, but interesting here. Anyway, so moving on to the final portions of this episode, Future Trunks and Mai head back to the future, but it's not the future that you would think. Whis says he'll take them to a timeline, or a point in time wherein Goku Black did not show up yet. So it's going to be Future Trunks and Mai are going to meet the other version of Future Trunks and Mai, which again, it's really confusing, but stay with me here, guys. Mai says she will accept this fate because there's nowhere else to go. And that leads me into the last portions of the episode. Future Trunks and Mai leave the scene. I must say that Bulma gave Mai some new clothing, and it did remind me a lot of the older, like the Mai from Dragon Ball. So maybe that's a cameo, not a cameo. Maybe that's a callback from the older series. You know, Dragon Ball. You know, the first arc, the Pilaf arc. Anyway, so Trunks and Mai leave in the time machine, but before this, Vegeta comes and punches him, and Trunks blocks it. It's kind of a farewell gift from Vegeta, and that makes sense of his character. The final portions of the episode, we get a really, really emotional scene of Future Trunks seeing Gohan again, and he reminds me a lot of, no, he doesn't remind me, he reminds Trunks a lot of the future Gohan, you know, the one obviously from Dragon Ball Z, the one from the History of Trunks special. Again, really emotional scene here. He's saying like he could not protect the future and all, but of course everyone, or specifically Mai and Gohan, reassures him that, you know, everything is going to be okay. He did his best, and again, really emotional scene. Now, that's pretty much the cliffhanger, or it's not really the cliffhanger, it's the end of the episode and the end of the arc. The first thing I want to say is I watched this episode a few times. The first time I watched it, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of a cheesy way to end this with Zeno, with the Omni King. But in the end, I really did think it makes sense. It's really tragic for Trunks that he did not get he technically got the win, but technically he did not. He didn't get to save the future, and everything is basically wiped out. But he did his best, and that's really what matters the most. But let me know your comments in the comment section below on what you think about this whole thing. Again, I didn't like it at first, but I have really come to terms with this episode. Seeing it time and time again, I really do respect, this ending. I'd say it's a good ending. I don't know about you guys, but I actually do kind of enjoy this ending. Even though I don't really like episode 66, I thought it should have been dragged out. But that's another topic for another day, guys. But it does really seem like everything that Future Trunks ever worked for is actually useless. I mean, he really could not defeat the villain in the end, and everything they ever worked for, I mean, up until, this point, everything with Cell, everything with what happened in Future Trunks' timeline, it's all for, I mean, it wasn't all for nothing. They fought as hard as they could, and it's a really, I think it's a good plot twist where the heroes just can't beat the main villain. I mean, I know it's kind of a Deus Ex Machina, where the Omni King has to save him, but it's not really, because in the episode, interesting dialogue with Beerus here, he says that, they're relying too much on the gods, and they have to fix things themselves. They can't always rely on everyone. And so I really wonder where this story is going to go. I know from the episode spoilers that there's going to be filler stuff, and then the next arc is going to start December 18th, but I'm not going to get into that because Geekdom already made a video on that. So anyway, guys, that's my review of episode 67. Good ending, I thought, after multiple times of watching it. A little bit cheesy with the Omni King, but a really good emotional scene with the ending. So let me know in your comments. Follow me, all that good stuff if you haven't. Link will be in the description. Stay awesome, everybody, and have a good one.